Creativity and creative thinking are tremendous, but we've all experienced times when we have needed to wrestle through some or all of the process. With that in mind, we've designed the Creative Wrestle to be a space to learn, reflect, and steal from a broad range of like-hearted creatives. We speak with artists, entrepreneurs, musicians, production directors, strategists, storytellers, and many more on their inspirational and unique approaches to the creative process. This is the Creative Wrestle with Lauren and Renee.
This episode is brought to you by Brown Fox Creative House. Brown Fox Creative House helps founders and brands turn big ideas into unforgettable impact. They take a holistic approach, blending strategy, storytelling, and data-driven creativity to launch brands, lead culture, and inspire action. With people and emotion at the centre, Brown Fox Creative House creates work that moves audiences to action. Go say hi on socials at Brown Fox Creative House or visit brownfox.com.au.
In this episode, we are joined by siblings Matt and Carly Bettinson, both inspiring creatives. Before we jump in, a little note to say that not all creative projects go to plan, and we've needed to use our backup recording in this episode. The conversation is absolute gold. The recording is more like bronze, but we know you're still going to love it. So we decided to play on. Enjoy.
Welcome, Matt and Carly. It's so good to see you. Now, our families go way back. Our parents worked at the same school. Carly, you're good friends with my brother Josh and his wife Sarah. Matt, you're good friends with my sister Kayla. And I've watched both of you in many of your performances back all the way since high school: dance, drama, musical instruments, voice, musical theatre. You're both standouts.
Wow.
But my anecdote here is actually about your dad. So
we love dads.
We love dads.
They're going to be.
Okay. You're nervous. No, so he was obviously a teacher at our high school, and I didn't know him very well as a student. And I don't know where I got this idea, but I thought he was just very prim and proper. He teaches business, but I thought he was maths and science, and I think I profiled him as, very straight, very prim and proper. And then a couple of decades later, we're teaching at the same school, and we ended up being in the teacher band for the Battle of the Bands together. I was on drums and he was on lead electric. Oh my gosh, he stole the stage. Like, he's wearing a mullet wig. He's like launching himself off my drum platform.
Just one I've had at home.
He had it ready. He's doing the windmill with his arm. Like, the kids were loving it.
He gave himself permission to shine.
He did. So I guess my question here is it possible you get your stage presence from your dad?
It's not only possible, but highly probable.
Yeah, it's probably inevitable.
Yeah.
Do you each have like mullet wigs in the background? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'll tell you what, half his costume is made up from Carly's wardrobe and half the costume is made up from Carly's wardrobe. So.
Fair. That's great.
That's the nightly performance that we would have growing up when he comes down for dinner time. So
we also did that. Stage performance.
Absolutely. Particularly when cousins would come over. I think there's just this, I don't know if you have cousins as well, but there's this layer of raw and real and permission to shine with cousins that you don't get with every friend. And no one's asking for the performances. I think that's
right. Yeah.
No one said, could you perform for us? We just assume that
this is wanted.
This is required.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So we will set the scene for our listeners. You are siblings, obviously. I've just given that away already. And it's not just the two of you, though. There are more Bettinsons in the scene.
Yeah, we have an older brother. So that's Tim, 2 years older than Carly, and he kind of set the tone for creativity in our family amongst the siblings. So he does his own music. He writes his own music, performs his own music, and helps produce and stuff like that. And then we have a younger sister as well. So Carly and I are in the middle. Yeah. Carly's older than me. I'm the second youngest. And then Emma is our youngest. And then Emma is our youngest sister, and she's doing musical theatre as well. So we have a lot of energy in our family.
And I said that to your dad once. I said, "What's it like in such a creative household?" And he said, "Noisy."
Is your mum artistic, or is her creativity in different ways?
Mum is incredibly artistic, but she's also very humble. Like, she would never brand herself as the creative person,
right.
But she's an incredible calligraphist.
Yeah.
She does amazing calligraphy.
Wow.
She's a really good, I think she's amazing at drawing and doing like still life and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And she also plays violin and piano. She
Yeah.
could do anything that she
The
wanted
thing
to.
is with Mum, she's a bit of like a silent assassin, right? You won't know she's good at something, and you might mention it.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you mention, "Oh, I bet you can't do a 50-kilometer bike ride in a week's time." She's like, "No, I can't do that. In a week's time, she'll do a 100-kilometer bike ride." Blow everyone away with her talent and
In her
her.
head, she's like, challenge accepted.
100%.
She can do anything she puts her mind to. So
She's crazy.
That's so good. That's so good. So, do you have a favorite memory of each other growing up?
favorite memory.
For me, it's just when Matt was growing up, he would always have a new hobby. And
Yes.
every single time he got obsessed with something, it would just be like awesome. In 1 month's time, he's going to be like,
Invested at it.
So
you're
good at
one
this.
of those, Matt. Okay.
yeah. And it's just like, okay, why do we have a full room in our house now that's just full of like magician stuff?
Watch
And
me
so
make
Matt
it
just
disappear.
It was always very random. So
Great.
Why is he building a plane now? A real plane.
The real question is, why not?
Why not? Exactly.
That's great.
No, I'd say my favorite memory, maybe I wouldn't say it's like a little bit more standard or anything like that, but I have a really good net memory of Carly and I playing in jazz band together at school. We had so much fun, like trombone, trumpet.
So cool.
We had so much fun in that back row, mucking around, playing the brass. Oh, it was so fun.
I love that.
We had a good band at the time as well. So I just have really good memories of us just having,
Oh, that's so special.
we'd go to the city mall, perform, and it would be the best time,
Yeah. Wow, I love that. So we've definitely established that you are both creative, very creative, from a very creative family. But in your approach to creativity, is one of you more chaotic and one more methodical and structured, or are you both similar in how you approach it?
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes, I think that we definitely, Matt and I have similarities in the way that we approach life and the way that our minds work, but we have definitely different approaches. I am I would say quite chaotic. I definitely need a plan to succeed, but like I love figuring things out on the fly and being like, oh, it'll just work out and just see what happens. And Matt is like the master of a meticulous plan, and he'll have every single thing sorted and beautifully methodically structured. Like if you see his studios, every single one is just designed perfectly for what they need to do.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'd also say at the same time, that's probably the stereotypes we give each other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have a level of spontaneity. I have a level of that. And then Carly also, with her sewing, with her music, she does actually have some methods that she will do
For sure.
in a systematic order. So
That's
we
true.
kind of share.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I think the stereotypes are pretty right there. We're pretty opposite.
Yeah. I find that
But
fascinating.
yeah, it's fun though because we get along because of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Now, Carly, I've seen your dressmaking content blow up on social media. It's amazing. What got you into sewing? Was there like a formative moment where you realized I can do this, or was it just what got us there?
I had a little bit of an interest in sewing when I spent a few years working at a formal and bridal store. I just became interested in how the dresses were made, but I didn't really delve into it then. It was just sort of something that was in my brain. I was like watching a lot of sewing content. And then in 2021, I don't know what happened, but I was just sort of like going for stuff. I was just going all in, no negative thinking. And I was like, I'm just going to sew and I'm going to sell my creations. Thinking back, I'm like, I have no idea what gave me the right or the confidence. I didn't know what I was doing. But I literally just went straight in and learned along the way, which is my favorite way to learn.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's ever really been a moment where I'm like, oh, I can do this. But I do have moments when I feel like I step back from my work and my projects and I think, oh, my skills have actually progressed, which is a really exciting feeling. I'm
very similar in the same way. So I I'm just going to try everything. It might fail, whatever. I'm just going to do this, and then I've actually, I've improved a little bit over as I've gone.
Yeah. I
I
love
have
that.
such an admiration for that because I think it's actually this kind of natural courage. I've observed it in Lauren, and I wonder if it's the same for you, Carly. There's this courage that's like, well, why couldn't I do it? As opposed to like, how are we going to get this to work? Why wouldn't this work? And I just think that's a fantastic mindset. I've observed that in you too, Lauren. I just think it's inspirational. I love it.
That's cool. We talk about this. We talk about this a lot because
Yeah.
your parents as well are incredible,
Mm.
and I've seen your parents over the years, Lauren, and they're so encouraging. And I feel like they actually believe that all of their children can succeed hugely in what you're doing. And I wonder if just like your parents just feeding into you like that as you're growing up really does give you that mindset of like, why couldn't I?
You're probably right.
You know?
Yeah. And it's a good thing to keep in mind as parents.
Yes.
How do we set them up for success? But back to your sewing. Now, your garments are so original. I don't know what words you use, but they're quirky, they're fun. Where do you get your whimsical ideas from? Do they come out of clay? Do you catch inspiration somewhere else and weave it, like that word, weave it into your work?
Nice, Lauren.
Where does it come from?
Oh, thank you. A lot of different places, I think. I think when I was getting started, like a lot was more closely inspired by other people's work, which is such a natural place to begin any
Absolutely.
sort of creative thing. Like, I'm just going to try and copy the works of the greats. But as I've gotten more confident, I definitely find more inspiration in just little things. Like, I see the way that other people's garments move when they wear them, costumes on stage, even just like when I go out and experience things, like I go on a hike and you see all of the amazing colors that people are wearing, the hikers and stuff.
Wow.
Like, just take it in. And I like to give myself a more broad inspiration when I start work. Maybe it's like, oh, I want this dress to feel like sitting in a sunshiny meadow, and allow that to sort of move it forward rather than being too specific.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of play.
And I'm hearing that you're collecting all these ideas when you're on the move. Like, it's not just in your studio, it's kind of out and about. How do you collect and capture your ideas? Like, what's your system for making sure they don't just fly away? Like, what's your capturing mechanism?
That's a good question. I do feel like a lot of things do fly away, but I, even just when I'm scrolling or on Pinterest or whatever, like I always just be screen grabbing.
Yeah.
But I feel like the stuff that really resonates sticks somewhere, and you keep coming back to the thought of like, I can't stop thinking about that green suit and the way it worked with the red tie.
Amazing.
I'd actually say, Carly and I were talking about this the other day, that at least for us, and I think this is quite common amongst creatives, is that you kind of have ideas oozing out of you all the time. Not ideas that you're going to do, but like Carly showed me, she had a little notepad that she takes around with her, and it's just an ideas notepad. And every time you get something, you just write it down, and you might not do 50 of them, and you might do one of them, but I think it's, channeling that, and then which one actually sticks and resonates with me. And I think that's why your videos and the things you do shine, because it's just like, that's what I'm passionate about, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then that
it makes
that
sense, doesn't it?
translates
It
to
almost
the audience.
captures you rather than you capturing it at times. We
Oh, that's really
interviewed a
nice.
musician a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about his library of lyrics.
Yeah.
So he, not just a musician, but a songwriter, and he was constantly just capturing this library so that at any one time he could grab that lyric again. And I just love the thought of making sure it lives on. Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, art is often seen as a window into the artist's inner goings on. What do your creations express, or what do you hope they express?
I hope that they express some childlike joy and like whimsy. And I also, even if they're not particularly fantastical, I still hope that they feel like a breath of fresh air in some way.
I can see that in all of your work.
Thank
It
you.
is a bit of
You
a
don't
buzz.
always get there, but
That's the goal.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But that's kind of the voice I'm about to talk about. So a bit of a buzzword in the creative community is finding your voice. But buzz or not, I feel like you have established your voice. You found your lane. It's unique. It's recognizable. Did that come naturally to you, or is that something that you intentionally had to hone? Like, this is what I want my voice to be. How did you do that?
Definitely honed.
Mm-hmm.
I think like I spent so much of my adolescence trying to fit in, and I never really knew how to place. I think I knew that what I was doing or the way that I was a little different perhaps, but I was definitely trying to make sense in the big scope of all my friends and my community and stuff. But the older I grow, I feel like the more confident I'm becoming in.
Yeah.
It's so much more, it's like separate from my art. Like I feel like a big part of the reason why I can make creative work is just trying to make space for who I am, understand who I am, and I guess like come back to my childhood self, I guess.
Yeah.
And just getting more confident with trusting your instincts as a creative person, if that makes sense.
No, that definitely makes sense. And when you start a project, what does that process look like? How do you balance? We've talked about your approach to creativity, but how do you balance planning a piece and leaving space for spontaneity? Are you quite? Yeah. Can you speak about that a bit?
I'm not great at planning my projects.
That's laughing. I love it.
Right now, Elijah, my husband, and I are producing a video a week, roughly, for YouTube. So he edits, I film.
Yeah.
And I sew a project once a week. And
Wow.
so it's a big undertaking. And a lot of the time these projects are like 7-day projects or more. And I honestly do have a hard time with like marrying vision with practicality.
Yes.
But it's like, it's a process.
I'll tell you one thing though as well. In terms of what her process looks like, sometimes Carly just says, or actually, this is a more recent thing that happened. Oh, I need a dress in 12 hours for a performance that I'm doing in front of 100 people. Okay, or a few hundred
Amazing.
people. Let's make one.
I hope that turned into a video. Like, I hope that was captured.
That's so cool. My mum did that once. I think it was her
Her wedding, was
formal.
it?
No, it wasn't her wedding.
Yeah.
It was her school
Whoa.
formal. She was also a dressmaker, just self-taught, and she didn't have anything to wear, and she just kind of looked up and saw her mum's curtains. And her mum came home that night and didn't have curtains anymore, but mum had a formal dress. So
Wow.
That's crazy.
yeah.
I did not know that about your mum.
Yes, she used to make
Wow.
clothes and stuff when we were little.
That's
Yeah,
epic.
my mum sewed as well. I was actually talking about this with my husband, is that I think it was a skill that generations had. You know, it was just, cook, sewing. And so it's kind of a bit of a lost art, but such a needed. I want to do that. Like, I think there
really
must be some
want to.
beautiful satisfaction about seeing your children wear something you've created.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll make really cute outfits for your kids one day. Now we'll switch over to your other big area of creativity. I didn't get to see you play Dorothy, but I have seen you perform many musical theatre numbers. One of the things that makes watching you so powerful is how the emotion comes through, and it's not just in the lyrics, but it's in your voice, it's in your body language, and in your expressions. Can you talk a bit about your process there, or your preparations for bringing all of that together?
Oh, thank you, Lauren. I feel like such a rookie in musical theatre.
Matt's shaking his head.
But I think this is actually awful to say, but I think a lot of what I do with musical theatre or any sort of performance is just being like, I'm just going to go and I'm just going to pretend that this is me.
I love it. That courage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Absolutely.
courage. And it's like, I don't know, so much of performing and stuff I love because it is just play, and it is, you have so much freedom to express what you have going on inside creatively. And I love having the chance to practice that, like trusting your intuition and trusting that, that you have something to share.
Yeah.
So the process, it obviously like changes a lot depending on what I'm working on, but generally it's led by this sort of like play and
courage, it sounds like.
courage, I guess.
I love it. That's so good because both of those are so important to all creativity.
And all of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been involved in lots of different projects. Has there been one that has been particularly challenging? Talking about that wrestle, and can you talk about what kind of wrestles you've faced in your creative projects? And how do you push through, or why do you push through, and that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the most challenging parts of performance, if you're doing musical theatre particularly, is probably auditioning, which has broken me many times. Some people are really good at it and they just let rejection just brush right off them. But that's been something that I've had to work through a lot, just when you pour your heart into an audition process, which could last up to 6 months, sometimes longer.
Wow.
And, you know, flights and pressure and meeting people, and then to end up not booking things like that. It's taken a lot to build up my confidence, and also my value away from that outcome.
That's interesting.
But aside from that, like, I just think being a creative and stuff, Matt and I talk about this all the time, but anxiety is such a normal part of doing things that are outside of your comfort zone, which honestly, being a creative is basically about being outside of your comfort zone. If you want to make interesting things, which I'm sure you guys will understand. So yeah, it's just my whole adult life has just been sort of trying to make peace with and understand my own anxiety and how I can move forward and still do things that I'm passionate about without letting my anxiety navigate what I want to do.
Yeah.
Do you have
Still
any?
there.
Absolutely, and I think that is the wrestle.
It
It's
is,
not
definitely.
about. We teach our kids, you know, all feelings are valid, but it's kind of like what you do with that, and that's a lesson throughout your whole life. It's not cliche. It's something that we wrestle with daily. Do you have any practical steps that you do when you are experiencing that emotion, particularly after feedback or auditioning? Do you have a way of kind of processing that out or processing through that, like practically?
Yeah. Obviously still a work in progress, but therapy has been the number one thing that's helped me proceed in a healthy way. Also just journaling. I think like a big debrief with my husband always hits the spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's always a privilege being able to spend time with people that love you for you and get who you are. And you can just touch base and be like, actually, it's not that deep. Like, we're going to get through this and it's fine.
Yeah.
And on a more lighthearted manner, or a more lighthearted way of doing it, if I see a 9-minute voice memo from Carly, I'm ready. I'm sitting down with a cup of tea. But the fun thing is that she'll get a 15-minute voice memo.
Yes.
I love that. I love that you've got that relationship, that you understand each other. You're both, doing the creative things, and you can support each other in the challenges. That's
There's
great.
a famous psychologist who talks about 8-minute friends, and it's about if you can just debrief for 8 minutes with a close friend, it actually just wires out of you so much of the pressure and pain.
Yeah.
And some people begin their text message, hey, do you have 8 minutes? And it just primes them for, a download. And I just think that's fabulous. I'm like, I want to be an 8-minute friend.
Yeah.
That's kind of
You're right.
That's actually
really
awesome.
That is great. I'll be your 8-minute friend. Carly, you're so multi-talented. Which discipline holds more space in your heart, or is that like choosing a favorite child?
Oh my gosh, my ego is like way too big after this. That's really funny. I honestly, I am obsessed with sewing, but I think Matt and I have talked about this so much, but I think like something that probably all of us siblings have, which is exciting, is it's not so much about one particular discipline. I think it's just we're just creative people. Like, I know that Matt could turn around any day and just do something different.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
And I feel I kind of feel the same way, and
Yeah.
not necessarily about it being really good, but
It'll be really good.
It'll just
It
be
will
like-
be.
it's always exciting. So
Yeah.
I love what I'm doing now, but I'm never really attached to one particular thing because I always want to leave room for like, oh, but what if it's like
Yes.
something else
Yeah.
in the future?
What haven't I tried?
Yeah, totally.
Just leave it open-ended.
I love that.
Yeah.
And over to Matt. Your creative interests are also broad. Carly alluded to your regular new hobbies popping up, but
Yeah.
you're talking about you composing music. What was it that initially drew you to that?
The composing, I guess it started with and this is the main theme that you'll find travels throughout anything I do, is I just love storytelling.
Yeah.
I've always been a storyteller, if it's on stage, if it's in song, if it's, through music or through film,
Yeah.
even through photography. I love that. And I guess music was just something that our family, it was probably the biggest creative influence in our family growing up.
Yes.
So Tim he's 4 years ahead of me. So he did his, adventure into, Vancouver Sleep Clinic,
Yeah.
which is what he's been doing for over a decade now. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's cool. I want
Yeah.
to try to do something like that. But I didn't want to do something in the artist or sing a songwriter category. I wanted to do something, in the film world.
Yeah.
That was my interest at the time. So it just made sense to do like music composing. That seems to be a good mix of music and film.
Yeah.
At that point in time, though, I had no idea how I was going to get into it or what process that would take. But that's probably, I'd say, the inception of the idea. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I love that. And you are an incredible composer. My jaw has dropped
Thanks.
many times. Kayla has sent me things, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And I show it to my husband Femi, who is a musician himself, and he also loves film music, as does Kayla. And your portfolio is rather impressive. What have been some of the favourites and why? What's been most challenging and why?
Well, that's very nice, Lauren. Thank you. Some of the favorites and why. There have been quite a few projects. There's a few projects I can't mention,
Yes,
which
is so sad because they're so.
I know.
They're big guys.
under
You'd be
NDA, but
impressed.
Yes.
it was, yeah.
Just trust him. It's impressive.
He is a big
Big
deal
deal.
around here. Okay? Let me just. Okay.
I'm aware of a couple, and yes, I wish we could say that.
Yeah,
We
we're
know
going
when
to
that
put
NDA
all the
comes
things like check it out.
Let's say, some of the favorites I've worked on. You know what? Out of all the movies I've worked on, this one was it was almost like a pro bono. Not quite. It was just really cheap, but it was pure passion project.
Okay.
And it was making the theme song for the Matchbox cars.
Oh.
You buy those little
Yes.
like
How
Hot
fun.
Wheels cars. I don't know if Hot Wheels is a part of Matchbox or whatever, but it's those little cars. And I wrote it was like a really good friend of mine who's over in Pennsylvania. He did the lyrics and the singing,
Yes.
and then I wrote the actual music. And then we had another guy in LA who also helped a little bit with the structure of the music as well. And we just came together and made this really fun, lively. It's kind of like a Mario Kart anthem, that sort of energy. We just came together and wrote that, and it was just so much fun.
That's so cool.
Out of everything I've done, that's a standout for sure. Yeah.
So when you do your film music and you receive a brief in the email, what does it entail? Like, how much do they give you?
So typically, just to clarify, so I worked in the movie trailer
Yes.
world. So it was less scoring movies. I have done a few little bits like additional music here and there for that,
Yeah.
but it was mainly for trailers.
Yeah.
So what would usually happen is that I'd get called awake maybe at 7 a.m. in the morning or so, get a brief, which might be, oh, you're working for Marvel on a Marvel project. Typically you'd work with a song from a band, like an asset that's already available. And they say, we want you to trailerize this in this certain style and genre, and we need it back in 10 hours or 8 hours, 24 hours. So that was usually the deadline. So then I'd work the whole day and then continue to work it, send it off.
End night.
Yeah, and night. And then I'm always on call 24/7, and then you do notes. And that was the cycle. So you'd always have a brief, not every day, but almost every day in the morning. And then when you're not working on that, you'd be working on notes from other projects at the same time.
That's wild.
It sounds like you have quite what I would describe as an engineer mind or a project management type mind, that you have quite a lot of rigor to your framework, which then allows you to jump into a morning 7 a.m. email. You're not kind of flustering your way through your process. You've got your rigor and framework ready that you can then launch into creativity. Would that be fair?
I think that would be fair. I know with this job, there was a lot of you get called awake in a deep sleep, and within 10 minutes you need to be on your computer and deliver something in an hour.
Wow.
So there was definitely stressful times. And your body can only handle so much of that.
Absolutely.
But I'd say, despite those times when you got a groggy mind and you have to get on with it, despite those times, every other time if I wake up, I would have a plan, or I would have, another downside, unfortunately, but it worked out really well for my job, was that I couldn't really make plans for the day. I had to keep it open-ended so that if I got a brief in, I have the day free to work in it.
Right.
I think that the industry's changed a little bit now, where it's a little bit more lenient, especially to those who are overseas, who are not in the local time. It's definitely changed, but that having that systematic approach definitely helped a little bit, just to wrap my head around it. And it wasn't I'm flustered, I don't know what to do. It's like, no, I know the process, I know what I need to do. So it helped in that way, manage the anxiety as well.
Yeah, for sure. And on the process, I've always wondered, and my husband and I have talked about it, how do you do it? How do you write for film or trailers when the music has to line up with the action? Is it like Jack Black in The Holiday, when he's got the scene on there and he's doing his little, MIDI piano keyboard here? Is that how it works?
I can't speak, obviously, for probably the A-listing scoring.
Right.
But what I can talk for is, for trailers, typically you'll get a brief. You won't have any visuals, but you'll get, a detailed, we want this here. Trailers follow an intro, then they have a structure, a B structure, and C structure, and they get crazier as you go down, like more loud, more intense.
Wow.
That's typically how you would follow it. So I would write my music to that structure and towards whatever brief they gave me. And then sometimes, this was rare, out of the few hundred projects I've done, I might have got 5 or 6 where they actually send me the visuals before, so that I'm actually syncing my music up. And that's a lot of fun. Yeah, the trailer world is a bit more of an isolating world for a composer, because it's less about working with a team, with an orchestra, and more about you're making mock-ups in 12 hours in your studio on your own. So whether you're in LA or in Nashville, wherever, or not, or London, it is quite like you're in your room on your own the whole time. The only connection you have, and this is important to highlight, is a publisher, who I worked very closely with, and they're the people that gave me my jobs, my briefs, and they're the middleman towards the directors or the artists. So that's kind of how it works. It would be awesome to have a bit more collaboration in terms of, hey, we have a 7-day deadline. We're going to get some sessionists in. We'll get a cello recorder. We'll get a singer in. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Now you mentioned these A-listed composers or whatever. And I probably know one of the answers to this, but who are your influences?
Yeah. Well, the most common answer would be Hans Zimmer.
That's what I had written down as my follow-up question.
Yeah. I have a few, John Powell with How to Train Your Dragon, Howard Shore, John Williams. They're probably the classics.
Yes, great.
in terms of film composing. But I'm my roots are probably, it was jazz first, but what I love is classical piano. So, I have people like Rachmaninoff, like Prelude in C sharp. I love that piece. A lot of Debussy's piece. Edvard Grieg's Piano Concerto in A minor. that's probably my favorite piece of all time. And the reason I like it so much, I'm not sure are you guys familiar?
No, I don't know that one.
So the reason I love that one so much is that it just has so much. Most piano concerto, or some piano concertos I've listened to, can feel a little disjointed
Right.
and it feels hard to follow. I really like storytelling.
Yes.
And I feel like in this particular piano concerto, there's a story to follow. There's a melody to
Exactly.
follow. There's themes that you can follow, and it feels like a film score in a way. So that's why I like, that one specifically is my favorite piece. But I'd say they still have influence in everything I write,
I should say
I'd say
our
that's probably it.
producer Nathan I can feel your energy in the room rising. He is a pianist, and we should ask
he's
you.
a songwriter,
Producer.
producer.
You know this piece. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just feeling a shift on the couch.
I want to know.
Everyone's eyes have lit up in the room. We are with you. So cool.
You guys would be great. We should hook you guys up. You two should connect. I had the privilege of seeing Zimmer in concert maybe, what was it, 10 years ago or whatever. It was
2015.
Yes, it was incredible. How many times have you seen him?
4 times.
4 times.
Every time he's been in Australia, and then I went twice this year.
That's so good.
What's
Awesome.
that like for you? Knowing this is your craft, seeing someone who's one of your inspirations. I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting because I have a brain that is never switched off. So there's one aspect, any concert I go to, I'm like analyzing.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Ooh, that was off. That was sharp. That's the thing. But when it comes to Hans Zimmer, I just lose it. It's just I get so immersed into his music, especially when it's performed live. So I just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's so good, and I love that. I think the drums and bass, I think, do they make them bigger for in concert than on the soundtracks? They feel bigger.
Bass definitely will be. Drums, it just depends. It's hard to mix that sort of thing live on stage.
Yeah.
As you're a drummer, you'd know there's a lot of frequencies you're covering. I'd say the kick was pretty loud.
Yeah.
And the snare was pretty
It
loud.
feels good when your chest's moving.
It feels good.
do
Yeah.
you feel music in your body, Lauren?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing like a live concert. Oh my goodness.
I will see anything.
Oh, same. I just love it. Love
Yeah.
it. That's our ultimate date night.
Yeah.
Is concert of
It's
some
pretty
form.
great.
Yeah.
So good. Now, talking about your recent work under the alias Valiance, you
Yep.
referred to your songs as dramatic and raw and deeply personal music that explores mental health struggles, especially within the creative community. Why do you, and we've talked about this, we all experience this a bit. Why do you think these struggles are so prevalent within the creative community? I've got a bit of a history of struggle in this area. The same goes for so many arty people I know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Carly touched on it before in the way that creatives, what was it you said? It was
You putting yourself out of your comfort zone.
out of your comfort zone. And I think that is a really true statement. In order to be creative, you have to break the rules a little bit. You have to bend a little bit. And to do that, it does take stepping out of your comfort zone. And I think it's also, at least in the experience I've had, is that when you're doing something that's a little bit different out of the normality, what everyone else does, it's a little scary, and maybe the job you do is just a little bit different to someone else's, or the way you earn money is a little bit inconsistent. There's just a lot of things that can cause stress and anxiety or even depression in that sense. But in my experience, I think people who are creative always have something to tell, like a story, like I've said. And that can usually come from pain or sometimes good experiences, sometimes stressful experiences. And to be creative is to really sometimes channel into that, to then let it bleed out so others can then experience the art. And that's hard and confronting.
Yeah.
So I think that does play a big factor into why people who are creative are more, I'd say, susceptible to mental health. And that's not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. It's probably a better idea to highlight it and make it well known so that people can get help more easily,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
talk about it as
instead of
needed.
it being more taboo.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did with Valiance, right?
Yeah.
I've had lots of mental health issues that have put me out of work for a year and a half and that sort of thing. And I was like, what do I do with this nervous energy that's balled up inside me? And why can't I find much stuff about this online? Or
Yeah.
why can't I go chat to a professional and it's not quite clicking in my head or something.
Yeah.
And I think that's where art, music, painting, drawing, sewing, that's when it comes in, because that's how I connect.
Yeah.
And that's why I started Valiant, so that people can maybe connect where they can't elsewhere.
Yeah. And do you find that, what's your relationship like with creativity on this side? Do you find that it's therapeutic or cathartic? Like if you go to a piano when you have, a lot of feelings or your head is busy, do you find that somehow is reprieve?
Yeah, it depends on what I'm doing, I think.
Right.
If I'm writing music and I have writer's block or something like that, then it's like I'll just have to push through, and that's not very fun all the time.
Right.
But if I'm having a bad day and I just want to unwind, then maybe I will just sit at the piano and I'll start playing, Grieg's Piano Concerto in A minor.
I love it.
That's really relaxing for me.
Yeah.
So it's a mix, and it's with context, I think.
Yes.
But then you even have like Matt's really good at, he does really, really fine pen art. Like it's almost, what would you call it? Like fine details.
Yeah, it's just pen and ink, but it's, I'm using a 0.05
Yeah.
millimeter.
Yeah. So
I'd
really,
love to see
that's like
these.
another, yeah, it's incredible. And that's like something that I would say it's different to your music, but that's probably your cathartic creative outlet where it's like, that's actually is therapeutic.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I think so. I forgot that I do other things other than music. Yeah, that drawing and like sometimes I do origami, paper art, stuff like that. That's really relaxing for me, and that's cathartic. That's therapeutic, and that's something that will always be cathartic or therapeutic, I think.
One of the reasons we wanted to interview you together is because your whole family is so creative and talented, and we wanted to see a little bit of a sneak peek into what it's like and how we can facilitate it as parents. Can you describe, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but your growing up years, did you always have creative outlets or interests, or did these develop in your later years?
I feel like it was always. I remember even just growing up with Tim, when I guess Matt was probably like a baby, because I still have memories. But Tim, when he was a toddler and stuff, was always playing a little toy drum, and he would be like calculating the statistics of what he drummed, like how long and how many beats and how fast. And
Wow.
yeah, like Matt said, like he really did set the tone. Like Tim is probably a genius. He's also so humble, he wouldn't say that himself, but like he probably is. And so he always went ahead and just did so many things so beautifully and wonderfully that, and we're all quite competitive. I don't know, we all just sort of like followed suit
Yeah.
from as early as I can remember.
Yeah. And I think the other thing as well is that our parents, because you asked about how you as parents can facilitate that.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's not as easy as we'd probably like to think it is, because I know our parents put countless hours of driving us to music lessons, dance lessons, football, projects, whatever it was, art classes, and they sacrificed probably a good 20 years of their life.
And a lot of money.
A lot of money doing that. So it's important to reflect and know, like, we are blessed with our parents, and we understand that we're fortunate.
Yeah.
And some people aren't. I understand that. But one thing that maybe could help is just focusing on one area that maybe your kid really is interested in. You don't have to do all the areas.
Yeah.
If it's art, then maybe we try that for a year or something like that, and just see if, I don't have kids myself, so I'm projecting.
They're just ideas.
Yeah, they're ideas.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's see what happens if you enjoy this, or if you go further with this, and then we'll go from there. I think mum and dad did that with us,
Totally.
but in a lot of areas.
Yeah. They never squashed an idea.
No, they didn't.
And something else as I've grown up, I've come to appreciate a lot is the example that they both set, which is that I feel like they have always invested into their own creative fields, but also just into their own lives. Like they've never been people who are like too busy, even though they do so much. Like even now when they're just getting into their 60s, mum and dad are like always exercising. Like dad is probably the fittest person that is F45. And mum actually just rode 100 kilometers, or was it 1,000?
No, 1,000 kilometers in 3 months.
Kilometers in 3 months.
Also, she did do the thing. She did the thing.
She did
She
do
just
the
did
thing.
Yes, the real example.
And they're always like, every single time I go over for dinner and stuff, they're always like, oh, I've been learning about this or that. Like they're
Yeah.
so interested in the world
Yeah.
and in progressing their own learnings that it just sets the example of what's possible and what's the normal.
I mean, just for another very quick example, just one more example. There's a wedding coming up and mum wanted to help out. She hasn't done calligraphy in a long time. She just picked up calligraphy and now she's written an amazing invitation or greeting or whatever. And it was just like, where did that come from?
That's
And it's
so good.
incredible.
Yeah,
So
it's inspiring.
they're always doing new
Yeah.
things, you know? Yeah, it's inspiring. Yeah.
Modeled. I love that. There's definitely a sense of freedom and exploration around your family, and I think that's something definitely I want to take away from this conversation is allowing space for more thought and more exploration. So thank you. That's so cool. And what are you guys listening to? Like, what's kind of that you consume? The TV, film, music? What's on the agenda
boy.
for you?
I mean, there's that A minor one you referenced earlier.
Yes, we've all written that down to
Yeah.
learn. But apart from that,
It's for me, I go through serious waves of like I haven't been watching any shows or any I've been watching some movies, I guess, in the cinema, like this new Superman movie and stuff like
Right.
that. But shows I it's like the last thing I watched was Clarkson's Farm.
okay, we could talk for
And
hours.
I haven't
It
seen
was
it.
Oh.
incredible.
It's so
pure
good.
joy. Is it not pure joy? No.
It's amazing. It's so fun and it's so comforting.
So funny. Oh, it's so
It is a
cute.
good show. What about you?
Yes.
I don't watch a lot of TV and film at this moment, but Elijah and I, my husband, we watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Probably because it's topical, like that's what we're doing as well. We like
Yeah.
watching other people and sort of seeing how they approach it and just taking like inspiration from other creatives. And in terms of music, I get really fixated. Like honestly, I'm the sort of person that's like, catch me listening to the same album for 2 years. And that's period.
It's me too.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Except 5 years.
double it and give it to the next person.
You like what you like, you know.
You do. Yeah. Like I love Carole King, Tapestry, just hits the spot every time. Olivia Dean is sort of like getting there for me too. She's
There is a
awesome.
theory that floats around that by the I don't think any of you are near this age, but once you're 40, you sort of there's no new music. You know, like it's sort of like whatever
I've
you've
heard
got
that
through.
before.
But I don't subscribe to that. I keep pushing myself to find new things. I'm up over that number. But we seem to go back to Fleetwood Mac, and
Love
you know,
Fleetwood
like it's just goes all the way back to the Beatles. Anything that the childhood. Are you the same? Is there some music that your parents introduced you to that is home for you?
Oh, definitely whenever I hear like an 80s rock classic,
Yeah.
even like
Okay.
solid rock.
Solid Rock.
Yeah.
That's a
Nice.
good one.
Those were just when we drove around Australia with our parents when we were kids, and we had just like a flip book of CDs, and so
Right.
Yeah.
whatever was on those CDs,
And mostly picked out by dad.
mostly
so-
picked out by dad. They got
Mr.
thrashed.
DJ.
Yeah.
Our family car music was Enya. So on the long trips, so if Dad pulled out Enya, it was like, okay, we want silence in the car. He's in a reflective mood. Did you have a family movie growing up? You know, because it's VHS, or maybe it was DVDs in your era.
These guys are in their 20s.
Yeah. Okay.
We actually
So
sort of
Netflix.
we've gone through videotapes,
Yep.
DVDs, Blu-rays, and now Netflix. It's
Yeah.
been fast,
Yeah.
but Elf. We always watch Elf.
Elf is
Yeah.
probably the most watched. Or
School of Rock.
School
Oh,
of
I
Rock.
love that one. Yes.
Oh,
There's one that mum and dad love. and I think it's Galaxy Trucker. isn't
It's
it?
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Galaxy Trucker is a board game. Yeah.
Okay, I've
Galaxy
got
Quest.
vague
I'll write
sort
it
of
down.
memory. Yeah, write this down, Lauren. And collaborations. Have you thought of doing any projects together? Is there plans, or have you done any projects together? Am I planting a seed here?
I think, well, Carly, her voice is in a few movie trailers. So,
Ah,
Really?
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
She's like, really? I don't think Carly knew that even that. Yeah.
she would come over every now and then when I needed a quick sing for something. But I think more recently, it's just random things. Like, I was like, Carly, I need a photo shoot for my, Valiance stuff. And she's like, all right. We went out and did a photo shoot. And then the other day she came over and she wanted headshots. I'm like, okay. We set up a headshot studio in the garage and did that. So we're always, in touch with that sort of thing, but it's not really official. It's always just
Yeah.
spontaneous.
It's sort of just like, I just need something from your creative toolbox.
Yeah.
Can I borrow?
I love that too.
Yes,
That's
this is
so
very
It's pretty
cool.
fun.
Yeah, it's good. And also between Tim and Matt, they have basically every creative
Awesome.
studio thing you need. So I'm like, do you have this thing?
So good. So you've both done so much creatively already, and neither of you have even hit 30, as we've just established. What other goals are there? What's on the one-day list?
I think where I'm at right now, I kind of take it day by day.
Yeah.
I like to, I don't remember when we said it in this conversation, but I like to keep things open-ended. I don't really want a closed
Yeah.
book at the end of my life. I don't want to say, by then I want to have all of these things done,
Yeah.
I kind of want to organically grow and figure out who I am until the day, until, I'm ready to go. Like, I want to just figure out who I am till then. I want to tell a story through them.
Yeah.
And if that's through, if I become an accountant and then I go to the army, and then I write a anthem for something and a symphony, and then, I don't know,
Amazing.
run a daycare, that's what it's going to be.
Endless
Yeah.
possibility.
I feel very similarly because I think when I was a bit younger, like my early 20s, I was very much so focused on like, I want to be in a commercial musical theatre piece or like, I want to be blah, blah, blah. And then I would find like that would like just extinguish my flame a little bit when I realized, oh my gosh, like what if I can't? What if it doesn't happen?
Right.
And so I've shifted a lot in the way that I move forward. And I like the same. People say, where do you want to travel? What do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I would prefer to not think about it and just pursue what I'm passionate about, what I'm interested in. And the success or whatever the success is like, I'm feeling fulfilled or I'm feeling inspired or I get to work on something that's interesting in some regard, like doesn't even have to be monetized at all.
Yeah.
So it's not like there are a few like career things that I would love to see happen, but I'll keep them to myself until hopefully they do. But it doesn't really matter that much because we're having fun.
Yeah. Keep the possibilities
Love this.
open. I love that.
Yeah.
Aren't they inspiring?
They are so inspiring. I just want to go and do the things, all the things, and
You guys are doing the things. You're amazing.
some things. We're doing a thing.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you
Love it.
both so much for your time. I have so enjoyed our conversation, and I enjoy listening to it later.
Welcome to the B-side.
Well, that was such a treat.
Mm.
I
So
loved hearing from those wonderful siblings, Carly and Matt, and also knowing that there's many, many more of them. I especially liked getting a sense and a feel of their sibling dynamics, and it just what an amazing family to be a part of. I loved the sense that they were really in awe of each other's creativity. Don't
so
you think?
encouraging.
It wasn't over familiar and it wasn't, oh yeah, so-and-so does this and blah, blah, blah. But there was this sense of encouragement and excitement. And it can go either way in that type of family. I think it could become competitive, but it
could be.
actually felt quite healthy and such a good,
Like championing each
inspiring,
other on.
championing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that dynamic, how they also recognize each other's strengths. And when they're talking about how, like, when I need something, I go to this sibling for this, and they all sort of like collaborate within each other. And I'm like,
So good.
but that's like, it takes really intentional culture and, well, family dynamics and building, but then culture building to be able to get that. I don't think that's something that just comes naturally very easily.
Yeah, shout
Yeah.
out to the Bettinson parents.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
leadership right there.
Mum and
And
dad.
I'm in my mind, I'm kind of thinking creative tradies. Like, okay, I'm gonna need
An
I'm gonna need a
electrician.
seamstress. I'm gonna need
Plumber.
yeah.
What do you need to be? What do you
Yeah,
want to be
what
when
have
you
we
grow
got?
up?
We've
I want to
got-
be an electrician. No, we've got 6 of them. Be
We've got
something
one.
else.
Yeah. What have we got? Have we got wigs for that? Have we got costumes? Have we got hair and makeup? So, like, just so fun and very inspiring. And I, as a mum of little creative geniuses, I'm wanting to cultivate an environment like that. So I am always kind of leaning in to be like, okay, well, how do you foster that? There's some definite intentionality. That's not just, and also petrol in the car. They would have been driving their kids everywhere on the weekends, and so there is this sense of, okay, what type of family do we want to be? How much time is that going to take? Who's where, and what are the trade-offs here, and all of that. So I was
to
just
do that
super encouraged.
with 4
Yeah.
kids is a lot.
Yes,
Yeah, wow.
absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. I'm going to need to find a couple more just to, throw in the back seat. I just really loved it. And there just was this genuine joy in each other's eyes when each other spoke about what they did and the passions that they have. And I just love that. I just love authentic cheerleading happening in the room.
Not threatened. I just loved something that they both had was, I think, and I don't know if they said it explicitly, but I think they saw creativity, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but as a transferable skill. So they just had this risk-taking, this boldness, and they took that creative gift that they each have and they just applied it with all these different skills, and just had the boldness to try something new. And I really like that. I really like it. It takes confidence, and they probably wouldn't be doing what they're doing now if they didn't have that confidence to pick up their creativity and just, take it in a new direction. And I think that's really admirable.
Yeah, I just think it takes must take a sense of security in yourself to be like, you know what, I'll just try this. Let's see where this lands.
Like, seeing their family and how they've really cultivated that, it's so inspiring. But I actually also like that, just be there for each other, and also knowing in the back of your mind, like, I've got people there who are my best cheerleaders. They'll be there at my highs,
Yes.
they'll be there at my lows. They know what to say, they know what I need, what I don't need. It's so
Yeah.
important.
The voice memo
Mm.
thing. They mentioned how one of them would send, an 8-minute voice memo and
Yes,
then they'd
that's
send one
right.
back. And it's great to have people that you can have those chats with and download, and they're not, they don't take on that burden, but they can understand what you're going through. And both of them are quite open, or they were quite open with us even about, that they've had these mental health challenges. It seemed quite prevalent in the creative community. It is something that a lot of creatives have to walk through, but they both seem to have a healthy attitude towards it, it seems, in that they can talk about it, and they are doing things to support their mental health, and they have supportive people around them. And I think it's important to be able to talk about it, and it's important to find the
Yes.
people that you can have those conversations with.
Absolutely. I definitely always admire when we can be honest and open about challenge, not just triumphs. And anxiety is something definitely that I manage in my life, and it's at times under control, and then at times, it's something I have to be super intentional about. And one of the things I've built into my process is, particularly ahead of something that's quite big or public, or I have to be vulnerable with, I have to show, some kind of deliverable, I can feel it rising. And what I try and do is put some kind of action with my anxiety. And I think to myself, what would future Renee be grateful for that I did? And for example, before some of these recordings, what I try and do is sort something out practically in my house so that my anxiety has, I can action something to keep my anxiety at bay. And then after the recordings, I'm so proud of myself because I'm like, the house is tidy,
Great.
like I can rest and reset from this. So I think anxiety shouldn't be a secret struggle. It should be something that we're really comfortable to be like, yeah, this is a challenge for me. And this
share
is some
strategies.
of my systems. This is some of my process. This is something that's worked for me, with the hope that it won't be an issue at some point in the
Forever.
future.
Yeah.
But until then, we support each other and, shrink it in ways. Yeah. So really, really brave conversation. Loved it. Something else that really stood out to me was the time frame of trailer music production and what, he could wake up in the morning because of time zone differences with overseas. He could have a brief in his inbox and he needs to outwork that within 24 hours. And
Seemed
really,
crazy.
that is, fast paced and intense. And I immediately thought to myself, of all the layers of structure he would need behind that to enable him to hit the ground running when something's required of him. And I just thought, how cool. It's not just the deliverable that's needed. He will need to set up systems and process and structure so that gets out the gate really quickly. And I was just really impressed by that. Yeah.
Yeah, his process. He's obviously worked out his process with what works and it's streamlined a bit, which is really great. I loved seeing two really creative people, both really good at what they do, with really different approaches to creativity. How, they talked about he was more methodical and she's slightly more chaotic. And I love that difference. And it just, I don't know, I just love seeing how this isn't the same for everybody. There's not one shoe fits all, not one approach is going to suit everybody, and we can definitely learn from each other and support each other and collaborate. But I love how unique it is to the individual.
Absolutely.
In the process.
Shout out to the chaotic thinkers who just go, she'll be right. I'll just work
you know who you
There's
are.
hope. You can do it.
Amazing. Well, great chat, guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Creative Wrestle.
Don't forget to subscribe, find us on socials, and share with your friends.